Hello friends, in today's video I will show you step by step on how I color my backgrounds. In my previous video I demonstrated on how to draw backgrounds in 7 easy steps you can follow. Now, in the coloring stage I have also set up 7 steps. But before that, I just want to share my gratitude to y'all. This channel have reached 3,000 plus subscribers. Thank you so much for the support. This is honestly huge for me. You have no idea. If you haven't done so and you want to watch more art related content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Click that notification button and I will greatly appreciate it. So, to recap, this background was designed because of the characters we created in the previous video. It is the bedroom of this kid and his beloved pets. Anyways, let's get started. Step 1. Values. So I have 2 layers on top, which are the line art of this piece, and below is where I will paint the values. No blend modes, just normal. So value is the backbone of any image. It is important because they allow artists to create a sense of depth in their paintings. As you can see here, I turned the entire canvas gray. Why? Because gray is the middle of black and white. It allows us to have more opportunities to add shadows and lighting. Because if we start with a full-on white canvas, it will be difficult to paint light because the brightest light you can paint as a value is white itself. So to start off, I identified where the light source is, which will be coming from the window. So I'm painting it with pure white. So when it comes to adding colors to your drawings, I see that many artists have trouble with knowing where to emphasize the darker colors and where to really add the lighter colors. Drawings that are created without a solid understanding of values and how they blend together can occasionally come off as flat, and we do not want that. We want it to have that 3-dimensional feeling. Understanding values will be your greatest skill as an artist. It sets the right foundation for you. Alright, so I'm literally just using 1 layer for doing the values. It is much more easier for me to navigate. Also, I have a bunch of references of visual development interior background design on my other screen, so I know the quality of value painting I am aiming for. Okay, so let's fast forward this. So this is good, not perfect, but I was able to implement a 3-dimensional vibe. So let's move forward to the next step. Step 2. Flats. First, we'll create a new layer, add the main color. This is not set in stone, but this is a good way to start. Let me merge the line art first. A faster way for me to add the flat colors is to pick the magic wand tool. Make sure you are currently in the line art layer, because we are going to use the magic wand tool to select the spaces inside the line art, like this. Make sure these 2 boxes are checked. So once we selected the specific area we want to put colors on, we go back to the new layer we created for the flat colors. As you can see, the selection is still here. We just have to paint over it from a different layer. Now I'm going to repeat this process to fill out the entire scene. That's why I love doing line art first, because adding flat colors with the lines already set in place makes this process easier. If you can't seem to find the right colors that works together, you can always check some references on Pinterest on specific images that follows your main concept. I've learned from my experience that creativity starts flowing once you start looking at someone's work. Basically, still like an artist's method. Okay, this looks good. Now, let's see what happens when we combine the values and flats together. And I'll be doing that by setting the value layer to overlay mode. Okay, as you can see, our art piece is going in the right direction. So let me rename the layers for a sec. And let's move forward to step 3, ambiance. So let's create a new layer, name it ambiance. So every time I do art pieces, I want to make sure that there is a cool side and a warm side. In this step, we will add the ambient color, which basically is the overall color of a room without the influence of any light. Let's select the paint bucket tool, pick a cooler color, and fill out the entire canvas. And set this layer to multiply mode. And as you can see, the room got dark. Let's lower the opacity. Then after that, go to adjustment, hue and saturation. So I want the ambient to be less saturated and more bluish. So that's step 3. Let's go to step 4, refining the ambiance. In this step, we'll be masking the ambiance layer, and we are going to erase areas where we believe the light is hitting. So here is our values. I'm just going to select all the whites because I'm going to erase these parts in the ambient layer. So let's select the layer mask thumbnail. Since the thumbnail is white, I am going to use the black color to erase the selected areas. So when we turn our value layer to overlay mode again and continue to erase the selected areas, you can already see the effect of the step and why we focus on doing the values first. Not only to make it look three-dimensional, but also make it easier for us to select specific areas where light and shadows are being defined. Now, take note, the Magic Wand Tools selection is not perfect, but the way we use our brush can be. So as you can see here, I am using my brush to fill out the parts where the selection tool missed. Okay, now that you get the gist, let's fast forward a bit. So along the way, I have decided to change the blend mode of my value layer from overlay to soft light. The overlay mode was too intense with the whites for my taste, but soft light gives a more calm lighting vibe, you know? I also decided to adjust the saturation of my colors because right now it just looks dull and depressing, so I want to have a more vibrant, colorful scene like this. Okay, as you can see, it is already looking like a finished piece. So it is all smooth sailing from here. So let's head to the next step. Step 5, shadows. Again, let's create a new layer, rename it shadows. Set the layer to multiply mode. This will allow our colors to darken a bit. Since the ambient contains a cool color, I will do the same with the shadows. So let's choose a little bit of purple color because both are not affected by light, so I'm gonna choose cooler colors indeed. So as you can see here, I always use the lasso tool to help me select specific areas where I want to paint, and I'll be doing this method in this entire step. By the way, I'm just using one color for the shadows, which is purple. So here's the difference between with shadows and without. Basically, the shadows add more depth and details and make it look more convincing. Shadows fills out areas where light really won't reach. Now that's out of the way, let's move forward to the next step. Step 6, lighting. So create a new layer, rename it direct light because there are more than one type of light. Set the layer to linear dodge mode and add a little bit of soft strokes in the middle area because that's where the light is coming from. So the color of the light I've chose is orange, which is a warm color. Opposite color of the ambience and shadows. Why? Because like I said earlier, an art piece looks dynamic if there is a cool side and a warm side. Plus, blue and orange are complementary colors, meaning they look good together. Now that I'm satisfied with the direct light for now, I will create a new layer and rename it bounce light and set it to overlay mode because we don't want the same light intensity that the linear dodge gives. So bounce lighting is a type of lighting in which a main light source bounces light off a board or another bright colored surface. So what I'm doing here is going to my flat layer and select areas where I believe the bounce light will show and go back to my bounce light layer and shade it like this. Sometimes I manually lasso it myself, like this. Bounce light is subtle, but it is an effective skill that shows your proficiency with lighting. Step 7, rendering. So let's create a new layer and name it paint over because we are just going to paint over the entire art piece using the brush without any blend modes. We already built the overall look of this art piece. The only left thing to do is refine the details a bit, add some highlights, adjust the contrast, and many more. So in this step, I'll be needing my color wheel and my render brush. I'm also going back and forth to my previous layers like the shadow layer or the light layers and see what else I've missed. Remember, everything is not set in stone. You can always use this as an opportunity to adjust the other layers or make the piece better. So here's the difference so far, with the paint over, without the paint over. Okay, this looks good. Reminder, it is also a good practice to leave your piece for a couple of days and get back to it. You'll be able to look at your art piece from a fresh new set of eyes. Believe me, most of the time you will know exactly what you can do to improve it, and having all these layers still set in place, adjusting it for the future will be easy. Alright, we are now at the bonus section. In this step, I am just going to draw and paint the characters over this background, make it look like the character is blended in the scenery. Now, the steps we did for the background also applies for the characters. I hope this video gave you some helpful tips on how to paint backgrounds. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Maybe I missed something. And if you made it this far from the video, I appreciate you all. Make sure to leave a like or subscribe to this channel so you won't miss my next video, which will be about character design. Enjoy the last few seconds of me finishing this art piece. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Cheers.